Hey! Anytime. Fall out till we kick off. Rifle and bugle. Rifle and bugle? Yep. Anything else you can carry that better. You get the orders? Excuse? Yeah. Okay. Battle, this man will get you killed. Wait for him to get his stuff.
Now don't touch this. It's running.
It is?
Right grip! Take arm!
Don't have to put your ears in.
Company. Attention company! Right front! Front! Each rank count 2! 1, 2, 1, 2!
Each right count 2.
1, 2,
1, 2.
1.
Second arm. Shoulder arm. Forward march.
We portray the 2nd Minnesota.
To the rear, open arm.
Mississippi, Arkansas, battles like Chattanooga, Farmers March to the Sea. But 2 weeks after
Order arm.
what they're doing now is inspecting the weapons. They're real weapons. You can deer hunt with them. They are dangerous. Fire. The uniforms, the accoutrement, the drills, the orders,
Shoulder arm. Shoulder march. Order arm. Six minutes. Right front. Front.
that's in company. Shoulder, arm. Everybody remember the number? Okay, right, face. Forward, march.
1. 1. 1, 2, 1. 1.
Halt. Front. You want to gather around. We're going to first demonstrate an order that taught them how to load safely. Load 9 times. The most common wound in the Civil War was self-inflicted to the hand. Fire the weapons a lot. There's a hot ember in there. The normal cartridge would have a bullet in the end of it. Tear one end open, pull the powder down the barrel. There, cartridge. Start cartridge. We're waiting because somebody drew their rammer. Anybody guess? I'll give you a hint. The first name starts with B and ends in I-L-L. So draw. Yeah. Draw. Rammer. Ram. Cartridge. Feeding the pump. Water down to the bottom of the barrel. Turn. Rammer. gentlemen would mind coming over on this side? I need someplace I can shoot.
You're going to shoot this way?
I'm going to shoot somewhere. There's more people. Okay, stay there. Shoulder, arm. Would you two mind not being there? I need a place to shoot. Hey boys, Onsy, take your men over that way. Right wheel, march. Company, halt. Right, dress. Front. The smallest tactical unit in the Civil War was probably regiment size. Company would be 100 guys. There'd be 10 companies to a regiment, or 1,000 guys. And mostly they fought battalion size. So if I only had a company, I wouldn't do a company fire because everybody would be unloaded at once. I'm going to do it just for the sake of demonstration. Fire by company. Molly, vacate. You're in the line of fire. Thank you, whoever saw that. Fire by company. Ready. Aim. Fire. Load. Now they're doing a regular load. Without the commands. They had this few of men that do a fire by file, which they start on the right. A file is made up of a front rank man and a rear rank man. And they start on the right, and by the time they got to the left, hopefully the rightmost guys would be loaded again so we can keep a continuous fire out of there. Typically it'd be 100 guys doing this. Remember gentlemen, it's going to be fire by file. And some of the shoulders first. Fire by file and fire up well after. Attention company. Fire by file. Ready. Commence firing. Fire. Good shot, you get 3 off a minute. Good soldier can do that. I don't know if I have any, but I can do it. There we go, that was quick. See who wins here, boys. John Kelly, he's Irish, sergeant on the end here, but he's not very bright, but he's the rate of fire out, so we keep continuing to fire out of there. Cease firing! Need a volunteer. For what first? Don't know until you volunteer. Anybody. Running target? Running target. Listen to the commands, gentlemen. Everybody hear that? Yes, sir.
Fire by company. Ready? Aim. Fire!
You did good, didn't you? Cover, arm. Prime. Make sure there wasn't a misfire. When you fire in a company of men, you don't know if your rifle went off all the time because they're going off on either side of you. What we're doing now is clearing weapons with just a cap, the percussion cap that sends the cartridge out. Fire by company. Ready. Aim. Fire. See, on the end, one didn't go off. Prime. It's a safety thing. Good job. What was your name, son? Andy, you're a lieutenant now. Fire by company. Ready. Aim. Fire. Cover. Arm. Shoulder. Arm. Forward. March. Left wheel. March. Company. Halt. We're either going to come close to the self-defense or they're going to all be doing whatever they wanted anyway. So in place rest means stay where you're at, but you can move around. We're going to tell you what they ate and answer a lot of questions. We're proud of doing the 2nd Minnesota. Like I said, they were Western theater. Everybody's heard of the big battles out east. The papers covered them. Western theater, even back then, the troops felt slighted. How many people have heard of the Battle of Gettysburg? Raise your hand. How many people have heard Pickett's charge in the battle? Pickett's charge, raise your hand. Don't be bashful, you've heard of it. How many people have heard of the Battle of Franklin? Excellent. That kind of makes the point. Pickett's charge was 11,000 Rebs going across a half-mile open field. They did it once. A horrible, horrible slaughter. Everybody's heard about that, right? The Eastern troops called Battle of Franklin the Pickett's charge of the West. The Western troops were insulted by that. They called Pickett's charge the Battle of Franklin of the East. Battle of Franklin was 26,000 Rebs under the command of General Hood. He lost a leg, lost an arm. He was on laudanum. He was doped up. The Union Army slipped by him one night. They had him trapped. And Pickett thought there were Reb units marching by them. And they didn't do it once or twice or 3 times. They did it 15, 16 times until he annihilated the Army of Tennessee, virtually giving the South, or the North, the West. And yet you all heard of Gettysburg. Battle of Franklin was 10 times more horrible for the South. Just to make a point. So to start with, uniform? Who wants to do uniform? Volunteer. Greet the people in German.
Guten Tag, jeder.
As many of our recruits in the Civil War from this area, he is full-blooded German. John Eric also speaks English, which helps.
Nur ein klein bisschen, only a very little bit.
Maybe you can explain the uniform.
Okay.
Why don't you get a little forward so they can hear you?
I can do this in a German accent or I can do it in a regular accent. So I'll just do it in an English accent. Actually, I am first generation German. The Civil War soldier was basically issued what you see here. Very, very heavy clothing. We're talking worsted wool trousers, cotton underwear, heavy wool clothing, in addition to more clothing. So whether or not you were fighting in the summer or you were fighting in the winter, you were always wearing the same clothing, same uniform. So it was very, very cold in the winter and it was very, very hot in the summer. The pocket? Yeah. The pocket of the, in a jacket, for example, inside, so you wouldn't be able to keep any types of books, letters, or anything like that here on your inside dress pocket. Again, as you can imagine, if you're marching several hours in the hot sun, you are just exhausted by the clothing that you're wearing. But in the wintertime, of course, you didn't have a lot of additional clothing. You maybe had a greatcoat, again, a heavy wool greatcoat, but it was still very, very cold. And we do our drills during the early spring, and we're out in the field. I'll tell you, you just want to huddle with your neighbor in a tent. It's called spooning. It's when you're just outside in one of those A-frames, and you are just absolutely freezing. The typical soldier, in addition to what you see here, was also issued a knapsack in which they had their gum blanket and their wool blanket. Again, the gum blanket would be used to put down on the floor to protect you from the moisture. The gum blanket also served as a rain poncho if it was raining. And then you had one wool blanket, and of course the canteen, your haversack. Your haversack actually ended up being your best friend. Your haversack carried pretty much all the food that you could march with. And you'd have your apples in there. You wouldn't have a lot of rations. You would not want to weigh yourself down with too much because you already have a Springfield rifle, and so you'd be limited to basically apples, potatoes, maybe some fried up bacon that you would wrap in paper, and so from the life out in the field for the individual soldier was just very, very frugal, very basic. These uniforms had to last you a really long time. You weren't just issued a new uniform when you had a rip or something like that. You were wearing this for throughout all the battles, etc. So again, not very comfortable. Like I said, very, very hot in the summer and very, very cold in the winter.
Thank you. Sergeant Kelly. Step forward. Sergeant Kelly, as you might expect, is Irish, and he's going to explain a little bit of the history of the 2nd Minnesota. And if you have questions, speak really slowly to him. He is Irish. Good luck. You're welcome to step a little bit forward so you can hear him.
Does anybody want to know why we're called the 2nd Minnesota? Because there already was the first. The first 1,000 men is signed up to fight for the Union. 1,000 men per regiment. First 1,000 called the 1st Regiment. The second 1,000 was the 2nd Regiment. The third 1,000 the 3rd Regiment. Therefore we are the 2nd Regiment. We were the second 1,000 men. We were formed shortly after the 1st Minnesota. We were supposed to join the 1st Minnesota in the Eastern Theater, and we were converted to the South to fight in the Western Theater. The Western Theater wasn't to the west as we know it now, but was actually to the south. Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, those areas, Alabama. We did most of our fighting down there. We fought the first major victory for the Union at the Battle of Mill Springs in Kentucky, where Confederate General Charlie Coffin was killed on the road by accident. The first Confederate general killed by Union troops. And we were there. Very briefly, because I'm not up on it.
Doing good.
There was 14 Medals of Honor awarded in the Civil War to Minnesota men. 10 of them came from the 2nd Minnesota. The reason you don't hear too much about the 2nd Minnesota is that all the newspapers, the major newspapers, were in the East. That's where all the good writers like Horace Greeley were in New York, Washington City. Not too much is heard about the West because there wasn't very good writers, but there wasn't very many big newspapers in the West. So that's why you didn't hear too much about the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th Minnesota, the 5th Minnesota.
Why don't you explain Chattanooga, or Chickamauga, I mean.
Chickamauga, what part?
Snodgrass Hill.
Snodgrass Hill.
Lookout Mountain.
Oh, you've been testing me. Been testing me.
Go ahead. You were there.
I was there. I remember it faintly. The Battle of Chickamauga, in fact, Chickamauga is a church meaning River of Blood, and by the end of that day's battle, it sure was a River of Blood. The 2nd Minnesota fought at Snodgrass Hill. What was the sergeant's name?
Or Thomas, I mean.
No, sergeant.
No, you guys battled
Axel
mixed
Reed,
up.
thank you. One of our sergeants, Axel Reed, won a Medal of Honor there. He was actually placed in arrest. He was placed in the rear when his company was going forward under General Thomas. He saw from the rear that his troops, his company, was suffering heavy casualties, and he was able to be released from the rear. He ran up, grabbed a musket off a wounded man, and led his company up the hill, and actually led the charge up Snodgrass Hill with artillery. For that, he lost an arm and won the Medal of Honor for those actions.
Can I interject here? Does anybody know the history of the 2nd Minnesota? Then you're doing fine.
I could help any regiment, no?
This guy has battles mixed up. Axel Reed was the 3rd Missionary Ridge.
Oh, he's Irish.
Any questions for him?
Hey, Captain, why don't you explain in your uniforms that the sizing is owned by a series of dots, 44, 34 long, or 34...
Basically, the privates got there's three sizes: small, medium, large. Because they look ill fitted. That's why. But the 2nd Minnesota, as Sergeant said, their first major victory for the Union Army was Mill Springs, Kentucky, January of 1862. And they captured 4 battle flags that battle. Other regiments went through the whole war, never captured any one. Basically, every time they got shot at, I think if you read their history, they got mad. You know, kind of a bunch of Germans and Irishmen, and they just didn't take it real well. But the Battle of Chickamauga was the only major battle in the Civil War where the Union and the South were basically equal in number. Rosecrans started, and the day out with 40,000 troops. He knew he outnumbered the South, but unbeknownst to him, Longstreet, General Longstreet, came from the east with 15,000 reinforcements for Braxton Bragg, the Confederate commander. And the Union Army split around a swamp that morning, and Longstreet coincidentally hit that spot and broke the Union Army in two. General Thomas held on Snodgrass Hill and gave the Union Army a place to retreat behind, and they held off repeated attack after attack after attack, only relinquishing the field after the evening ended the battle. Other units had 10%, 20%, 40%, 50%, 60%, and even some as high as 70 and 80% desertion rate. Only one regiment in the entire battle had every man accounted for. Not one man ran, and that was the 2nd Minnesota. So we are proud of their history, and it's a history that's not known to a lot of Minnesotans. You all know the 1st Minnesota history. God bless their souls, they plugged the hole at Gettysburg. And not to take anything away from that, but it was a pivotal point in that battle. But there's other regiments to be proud of in Minnesota too. 2nd Minnesota is one of them. We do have a member of the 3rd Minnesota here. Lieutenant. I want you to come up and tell them a little bit about the 3rd Minnesota and what company you're on.
3rd Minnesota, you heard about the 1st and the 2nd. I don't know a lot about it yet because we just switched to the 3rd Minnesota Company C not too long ago. We're still in the process of researching it, but we do know a couple of important things. One is that, unfortunately, the 3rd Minnesota is probably best known for but surrendering to Nathan Bedford Forrest at a place called Murfreesboro. Against the wishes of the great majority of the men, the officers surrendered because they were duped by Forrest into thinking he had a lot more men than what he did. He marched his men back and forth and over a hill and back again, the same men, and they thought it was reinforcements. So they surrendered. The good news for us in Company C is that Company C was not there. They were on detached duty guarding a train at a place called Shelbyville, and so we're not captured. So we in Company C have our honor intact yet. We're going to keep it that way. After that incident, after the men were paroled, they did return here to Minnesota. I think it was either punishment or reward, I'm not sure which, I guess depends on how you look at it. They were brought back here to fight the Sioux Indians in the uprising in 1862. 3rd Minnesota did have a number of casualties, deaths at a place called Wood Lake, and was around this area quite a bit during the Sioux uprising. And that's pretty much what I know so far, and we're finding out more every day.
Thank you. Their food wasn't glamorous. I'm going to pick somebody out that likes eating more than anybody else in the company to explain what they ate. Nelson. Swedish, right? Yep. Nelson's Swedish, so talk really slow if you have a question for him.
I'll say something about that. There was Swedes in Minnesota by that time, and there was a whole company of Swedes in one of the Minnesota regiments.
And Nelson ate them. You're supposed to be explaining the food.
If somebody will let me. Okay. I want you to imagine what you would eat in 3 days. How much food would you eat in 3 days? Now imagine putting it all in here. Because that's what the soldier did. carried 3 days or thereabouts rations for a campaign. Didn't have many luxuries, only what he could carry, and it was light. Usually it was a very meager diet. Salt pork, hardtack. How many know what hardtack is? Imagine a saltine cracker without the salt. And about 10 times harder. And maybe some coffee. And that would be about it. Now, during the campaign, like right now this month, we would maybe find some corn and some fields that was ripe for the taking. We might find, maybe some apples. We might find whatever we could take. In fact, if we were marching through Georgia, as we did, we could find all kinds of food in the southern houses down there. And the story is told of a time when some 2nd Minnesota troops were going through, as they were going through Georgia, they came up. Now down the south during the Sherman's March to the Sea, people would bury their food if they wanted to hang on to it because they didn't want anybody to find it. Okay, I mean, what would you do if you had food and it was very valuable and you didn't want people to find it? They were hiding it, see? Well, the soldiers were getting wise to this, and these guys came across a mound of dirt freshly dug, and they thought, aha, somebody's buried some food here. So they started digging and digging, and pretty soon they come across a wooden box. And they think they found it. And a little ways away is an old lady sitting in a rocking chair on the porch, and she says, "Yeah, that's the 4th time today that dog has been dug up." So anyway, they would scrounge for food wherever they could find it, and they could fill their hat with berries or with garden vegetables or whatever they could find, and they pretty much laid waste through Georgia as they marched through the state. And many of you probably know that they cut a 60-mile swath through Georgia, and the 2nd Minnesota was part of that. So that's about all I got. Anybody got any questions about the food or anything? Okay.
Private has a question.
I have a question. Did the 2nd Minnesota come back and fight in the Indian Wars, or did they stay out fighting the Reds?
No,
I
actually,
honestly don't know.
the question was, does the 2nd Minnesota come back to Minnesota and fight in the Sioux Uprising? The answer is no, they did not. They stayed in the Civil War the whole time. When did the Civil War end?
April.
What month? You said it. Say it again, real loud.
April.
April.
The month that changed the world.
The 2nd Minnesota was fighting in May of 1864. They didn't know the war was over.
Huh?
May of 65, I'm sorry. They were fighting in North Carolina.
Against Johnston.
They were, fighting Johnston. So Lee surrendered in April of 1864, and even after the 2nd Minnesota got done fighting, there's still fighting happening further west, like Texas. So it didn't all just end at once. You can picture back then, news had a hard time getting around. So they did not come back and fight in the Sioux Uprising. Sorry to do this to you, but I'm going to have Kleidler.
Sir.
Why don't you come forward?
Make a hole.
And for kids, he gets real scary when I have him do this, so he's going to explain the weaponry.
This is the 1861 U.S. Springfield, caliber 58. They've seen this before. It is a muzzle-loading, percussion-fired weapon. That means that it's loaded at the muzzle using a paper cartridge. These are produced in factories in the north, shipped to us. The only difference with this cartridge I hold today is that it does not contain a mini ball. It contains 65 grains of triple fine black powder. The top of the cartridge is torn off with the teeth. The powder is poured into the bore. The ball is worked free, placed on, and rammed down using the ramrod, as you saw earlier. The weapon is then primed by placing a copper or brass percussion cap. It's It's called a top hat cap because its shape is similar to the hat that our beloved President Abraham Lincoln wears. It contains mercury fulminates, which when struck by the hammer, explode in a tongue of flame. This tongue of flame travels down the cone, which communicates with the chamber of the weapon, where the powder charge now rests. The weapon's hammer is cocked, the weapon is aimed, the trigger is pressed, causing the hammer to fly forward, striking the percussion cap, exploding in a tongue of flame. Powder charge expands. As it explodes, the base of the bullet expands, grips the rifling or grooves, which spiral up the barrel. Use your common sense to figure out what's left of you if it does. When the bullet enters the body, it does not poke a neat little hole through. It is pure lead. It will go through, smashing bones, and continue to send splinters in the directions of those next to you, and probably strike the man behind you. If it strikes your arm or leg bone, that bone...
Well, we try to eat too, don't we?
Take a lot of steam. Oh, ew. That's gross. Well, what do you want me to do? Daddy. Daddy, I thought it got red on his gross.
Then go. If you think it's gross.
Don't you?
Maybe it's just shocking, but I'm surprised he's as quiet as he is. Really? Are you?
All the ones we've had today have been awfully noisy.
What have you got in your...
There's a lot. Because it's not only the Civil War Museum, but it's also the Historical Society. Yeah.
The basin. Will you be all right here for a minute, soldier? All right.
Okay, I just wanted to... Are you coming for a wet cloth? Yeah. I've got one in my hand. Well, I got a little bit of water. I wanted to ask you for my rent.
Yeah.
Having the bottom drawn and then rolled on with it like they make
Like it got a little bit of heat stroke going on too, must be over. You know some of these surgeons always think of themselves first than anything else. So we haven't had a chance to eat ours. Like we have? We've been working as hard as he has. Haven't seen coffee since 6 o'clock this morning. Really?
Oh, Ben, what happened? You get shot? Oh, man.
It ain't good.
All right. I can't even put him out yet. Where is that surgeon girl?
Private, can you figure out where my surgeon disappeared to?
I'll see if I can find him. Yeah.
Your orders, doctor?
I need you to tie my apron. Get it out of the order. What happened here? Where's he from?
Second Minnesota.
What's your name? What happened? What is that? You were shot? Well, let's see. Let's see, I need a scissors.
Bent scissors, all right?
Bent scissors.
You guys can move in around here.
Yeah, I got the sponge, yeah, okay. I just checked to make sure you had everything you need. I think we're set, Mrs. Gilbert.
Yes.
Please go rest your back. My back is fine. Mrs. Gilbert, I need dressings. You got. Anything that I can use. Here's a roll of bandage. Like that. A couple I can use. That's all right. I'm going to use this one.
Okay. Anesthetic. And then anesthetize this man.
Okay, soldier, I just want you to breathe, okay? Just take nice deep breaths. Just relax. It's going to help you sleep. Okay, doctor.
Okay.
What can I get for you?
Stethoscope. Scalpel. Bandage.
We've got no 4x4s. We've got no sponges.
Towel. Bullet probe. Give me a forceps.
Those small ones?
Yeah, start with small. Give me a straight forceps.
You want to try these? Lost it? But you got it?
There's something else in here too. Now give me the other forceps. That's a bullet extractor. Yeah, that's what I want. That's a bullet extractor. Oh, wait back it. What is this?
You got hit twice?
Could have been a double load. Yeah. pull it here.
Wedged in uniform sleeve.
Okay. Do you have a sponge? You don't have a sponge.
Nope. I'm sorry, our supplies are low. Nothing's been sent. We're having to make do.
Need another sponge. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Dress him up real quick. You got a chest wound waiting.
Have a chest wound waiting?
Yep.
Okay, let's wrap this. We'll let this separate for 3 days.
All right.
Then we'll come back, clean it out, and then close it up at that time.
All right. Any drug orders?
No, sir.
Yeah. I want 3 drips of morphine when he wakes up.
All right.
And cantharides to follow.
Okay. Stewart!
I was in during Vietnam, but I didn't go to Vietnam.
Okay, soldier. Put you over here. Make up the rest. Wait, whoa, don't fall off the table here. Hold on. Up you go. All right. Come on, we're just going to sit you down right over here for right now. All right.
I said you had a chest wound. Yeah, head wound.
No, that's just a wet cloth on his head.
Oh. Set him back down lower. You're going to have to scoot him down now.
Stay with us.
Scoot him down. Make sure he's comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel, soldier? Are you there? Soldier, are you there?
I'm here.
What happened, soldier?
Took one.
You took one.
Yeah. Right to the breastplate.
Anesthetize this man. Anesthetic.
All right.
Chloroform.
Chloroform. Okay, soldier, just relax now and breathe deep. It's all right. It's all right. Don't fight it. Just
Inhale.
breathe deep. Come on,
Inhale.
breathe deep.
Inhale.
Breathe deep. There you go. Just relax. Keep breathing. Boy, he's really fighting this, doctor.
Stuart, do we have any sponges around or 4x4s? Hand them to the steward.
Here's the scissors. Oh, you've got them here. I've got them. She'd like to know when that supply train's getting in.
Well, maybe the telegraph man over there could tell us.
Maybe there's been, you don't suppose maybe they've gotten behind us, do you?
Who knows?
Let me use your scissors real quick.
There's 3 of them.
Get some more. Okay, stand by. Don't leave.
I'm talking
Oh, you've got some there? All right.
Oh, sponges. Stuff that in there. Next. More.
Yeah, next time you
Can't believe I'm resorting to tearing these things with my teeth.
Bullet probe.
There's some more right there for you.
I almost took that. This is what happened. Got a big video over there. Huh? He needs a clear shot. can't feel any projectiles. I couldn't tell anything with the probe.
Okay.
Here to get you some more though.
Yep.
Got a chest in there.
Scalpel. Forceps.
Which kind?
Okay. I'm glad you got them now. Just a regular.
Yep, he's bleeding.
Regular forceps. I'll see if I can get this in there.
5 more.
These
Straw?
bone splinters.
Straw. Oh, it's bone splinters. Oh.
Don't tell me you see things like straw.
Well, there's no telling. We've seen some pretty strange things come in.
Yes, we'll take this. Oh, more sponges.
Yeah. You got some right there.
Yeah, a 16-year-old girl one time.
You're going
one of
nuts?
these posts.
I don't know.
Breaking women.
Depends on how bad he wants to pack it afterwards. Oh, man.
You want me to hold that? Okay, now.
Good scissors. I don't know what they did. They must have been in the box with the other instruments that didn't get them.
Like I said, the supply train, nobody knows.
I know. Well, when we got here, there was a whole box of instruments missing.
I'm working on a projectile now. What's even more than extractor? Right after the battle. It's even more believable because there was all
Small one?
fighting and then they all extractor. Okay, take that. Time to go down.
All right.
Upload the computer and bring her back.
Need it sooner or later.
That's a big hole in his chest cavity. I have to stuff this. Is there anybody next?
No, that's the only one. The rest, most of the casualties are fairly light today.
Okay.
You need some more?
No. Maybe I'll sew this shut.
All right.
I'll take, give me needle and thread.
Do you want a needle holder?
And a needle holder. Set that up. This work. I think I've gotten, I've probed everything. I did have a burst of blood in here that was secondary.
All right. All right.
Kids can't bear to watch.
Everybody take turns volunteering?
Pretty much. I worked down Heights when I did a couple down there. A couple of
There's a handful of bandages here. Or loaded ones there.
Okay.
Well, there is. And for the most part, there's a lot of them that sell shoddy stuff.
Oh, those are great. This is Gilbert.
Some good ones.
I just hacked them all.
That's fine.
You gotta kind of the needle. This one's working. When you guys come here,
It is?
we had so many rusty needles these days. And where to get it.
Well, maybe if we're lucky, the rusty needles are the ones they stole.
That would be a good thing.
We've been losing equipment.
Yes.
Yes, this last move, we lost a whole box.
Not to mention most of our dressings, sponges.
Not the rifle.
Yeah, the rifle. But it would not, you wouldn't get a temper.
Not right.
Well, what are we doing in place of those?
At the moment we're improvising. We got a telegraph off to try and find out where the supply train is and see how far behind us they are until we can get our supplies refilled.
Would you go to the head nurse and get the cantharides? I found the head nurse the cantharides.
Those cavalry ones are
pretty sharp. They really are. Those guys are really good. And then you got to have that carbon. Apply cantharides to the sutures. I think it would take maybe a little more money out for the cavalryman. Yep. Sprinkle it on. I got back online again. With my open gear, I got back on, so I'm okay. So now I just have to, get the other one back. Okay, we got to start waking him up, or he won't wake up.
All right. All right. Spirits of ammonia here. Come on, soldier. Wake up. Wake up.
Beautiful day.
Come on, Ben. Come on. Gonna make her?
Your partner's here looking for you. Come on, soldier. Wake up.
Okay, scissors. Cut that.
Here, I thought I might get his shoes.
Okay, got to get some fresh bandage prepared. Bring it here immediately.
We've got right there.
Okay. When he sits up, we roll.
Just drop in the
All right.
basin now.
We ready to sit him up?
Have you revived him?
You say something here, soldier. I need to know that you're here with me.
Steward, on this side, right over here. Get this arm. Raise him up.
All right. You guys ready? All right.
Just sit. Have him sit. Roll that bandage. Don't let him begin to bleed. I just sewed this shut. Another bandage. Bandage.
Oh, I got it. Where's your loose end?
Here.
Tied over there, steward.
Stains from the last time. Bring this along as you roll. Keep rolling.
That's it?
That's the end of your roll.
Oh my God.
Another bandage. You split one in half.
That one that we just used. Here, give me the end of this one. There, steward, take that in.
You need another bandage?
Oh, here comes another bandage.
We got him tied.
Oh, okay.
Keep it handy.
They're right here.
Be changing his bandage soon.
Yes.
All right.
I thought you revived him. He doesn't look very well revived.
Mrs. Gilbert, would you hand me the spirits again, please? There you are. Come on, soldier. Wake up.
Let's see if he wants some laudanum. Let's get some laudanum into him.
How much?
Give him a swallow. That's it. Okay, inhale. Start breathing, soldier. Steward, come on this side and get him.
All right. Oh, somebody died in there.
Turn him around.
All right. I don't need it.
Get up there. Lift him out of the shoulders. Hoist him in there. Get him hoisted. Come on, soldier, give us some help with this.
Give him some water.
Okay. Wheel him to recovery. How's this one recovery? Take him to recovery. Does anybody have any questions about what they just witnessed? We had an arm wound, did not require amputation. We did perform a bullet extraction.